color me silly. But if the FBI arrests somebody, I mean, I typically assume that means that they gathered the evidence to make their case before they arrested them. However, in my particular situation, and many others like it for the January 6th defendants, and I mean, I'm no lawyer, so maybe I'm wrong. Tell me in the comments. But they arrested people, they arrested me, and then they're going around looking for evidence to figure out why. That kind of seems odd, don't you think? Innocent until proven guilty, not guilty under arrest, and then we're going to find something to say he's not innocent. I've seen very, very little discovery. And what discovery I did see is flimsy at best. I'm facing 10 charges. 10 charges, federal charges, on my indictment. Which, by the way, apparently they convened a second grand jury and gave me a superseding indictment so that they could change the wording on the original charges. That doesn't really seem right to me either, but again, I'm no lawyer. They have not presented the evidence to show as to why they even arrested me. I get some really flimsy body cam footage of me standing in a crowd of people. You know, I've never denied being at the Capitol. I never went into the building. Never destroyed anything. I didn't attack anyone. I stood up for the defenseless. I spoke out for my country in the, constitutional process of the election. Electoral integrity is extremely important. However, it's been almost a year. They keep dragging this out. You ever wonder what happened to speedy trial? I hear them toss around the CARES Act quite a bit. Every time I go to a hearing, it's another 60-day continuance. And they mention the CARES Act. And they say, due to the pandemic, due to COVID, the CARES Act. Seems to me like they don't care at all about the pain and suffering that they're causing me, my family. They don't care about the pain and suffering they're causing those that are in lockup, solitary confinement, being beaten, tortured, fed moldy food, rust in the water, extremely, extremely horrible conditions, discrimination, slander by the media. I mean, I served my country. I'm very proud of my service, proud of my country, but yet I'm called a terrorist. I'm called a traitor. I am seen as an enemy of the state. Speedy trial doesn't mean that you destroy somebody's life for an entire year before presenting evidence as to why. The National Defense Authorization Act says that if they deem you a domestic terrorist, then they can just hold you indefinitely and drag it out as much as they want to, basically do whatever they want to you. But I'm an American citizen. Can thank old Barry for that, I guess. You know, I served during the campaigns of Iraq and Afghanistan. We were supposed to be fighting against terrorism. I know what real terrorism looks like. And I can tell you now, I'm not it. I'm the guy that chokes up when I hear the national anthem. I'm the guy that can still recite the preamble of the Declaration of Independence. I'm the guy that teaches my kids that integrity is to do the right thing even when no one's looking. To stand up for the vulnerable and the defenseless. To speak out for those that are being persecuted and oppressed. Good, wholesome, Christian American values. Am I perfect? Not even close. Am I a threat? Not one bit. That is, unless you're threatened by the truth. I am definitely a threat to those that have wound their lives in the spider webs of lies. If you're hanging by the threads of the lies that you've told, then I am definitely a threat. Because I'm not going to be quiet. You can lock me up in prison for the rest of my life, and I'll be screaming out the prison bars the truth. Cold, hard, inalienable facts. Empirical evidence. Documented proof. But they care. They care. The CARES Act. We're going to keep torturing you because we care. We're going to run you through the mill because we care. And the crazy part is, I don't know if many folks know this, but if somebody gets arrested, they go to their arraignment. It is, I don't know if you want to call it tradition, that the defendant pleads not guilty all the time and then waives their right to a speedy trial. I never understood that. You have a right to a speedy trial. You have the right to a jury of your peers. There's a lot of rights that somebody that's being accused of a crime has to make an even playing field for their defense. But now, it's just a normal thing to waive their rights. Let them sit in jail, or let them be living under tyrannical restrictions until they can build up enough evidence to try to convict them. And then apparently, if they can't convict them on the charges they originally do, then they go have a secret meeting without the defendant around and change up some wording and see if they can get him on that. Good luck, folks. Because it just seems ridiculous to me. Speedy trial. Yeah, okay. Men and women are sitting in lockup for over a year now. Still haven't seen evidence against themselves. On misdemeanor charges of trespassing, parading. You know, there were groups of protesters that occupied Nancy Pelosi's office and the House of Representatives and the hallways in the Senate long before January 6th. Most of them were just let off immediately with a $50 fine. And the Kavanaugh hearings? Oh my goodness. The left went ridiculous in the building, threatening representatives directly, confronting them at the elevator, screaming and making verbose threats. What happened to them? Nothing. Oh, well, they have the right to protest. But Grandma goes to the Capitol, stands outside, sings the national anthem, says a prayer, hoping that God can make our country whole again, unified, praying for the police that are standing there in riot gear as they pepper spray her and shoot her with rubber bullets. America, wake up, folks. This circus, it's just full of clowns. Just full of clowns. I pray every day that true justice will rear its face and that God can restore our country so that my fellow men and women, fellow citizens, patriots can go back to living wholesome, peaceful, plentiful, and fruitful lives, basking in the liberty and freedom of the red, white, and blue. That's why we sing. To stand in one unified voice of American resolve together. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave. You know why they have a speedy trial? Because if they don't have the evidence to convict you, they shouldn't have arrested you to begin with. Sing for freedom. It's time for us to speak up and get our political prisoners out of jail. And stop this charade